up, YouTube? We're back with another episode of What the Hell Am I Doing? Today, I've got a really cool place for you guys. I got a split-level house that was built in 1969. Looks like it's been abandoned now for a few years. The place I'm talking about is this beauty right here behind me. I think this one's gonna be absolutely mind-blowing. So why don't we take a look around the property and get inside and see what we can figure out about this place. All right, guys, we're gonna start today's adventure just outside the front of the house on the driveway here. I think this one's gonna be a pretty mind-blowing one, so why don't we get right into this. Like I mentioned in the introduction, this place was built in 1969. It's now been sitting here for a couple of years. If you take a look around here, you can see they have a demolition fence around the property. So I think this place's days are probably numbered, and it may not be here for much longer. So why don't we get into this place, see if we can figure out what happened here. Right away, we're greeted by a couple of lights down to the driveway, which will obviously give this place some ambience at night when you come home. Very nice. And as you can see, it's a very big driveway with a roundabout garden just in front of the house. So you could drive in and actually drive past the front door or park in front of the front door if you were dropping somebody off, if you were visiting. And then you could drive out this way and leave the house. Let's get a little closer. You can see the garden here is no longer maintained. It's a little bit overgrown. Well, a lot overgrown. And you can see there's ragweed and all sorts of growth everywhere you look on the property, giving a pretty indication that it's been sitting for a while. You walk up to this place, it's got a very classic look to it. Very typical of a place that would be built in the 60s or 70s. You got a mix of paneling, you got a mix of gray stone and brick. It's got a nice big veranda, we'll check that out. Also, they have a nice interlock walkway and garden at the front of the house. It looks like that goes all the way around to the back. You see, it's a fairly decent sized house. Like I mentioned in the introduction, this is a back split, so most of it's going to be on one floor. That's a beautiful patio, though. Beautiful veranda to leave the house from every day. And if you turn around here, it's looking back to where we started here. There's your garden that's like a roundabout in the middle of the driveway. Okay, so why don't we go up here? So they had interlock stone steps, and they also had terracotta tile. That would have been typical for the time. Of course, you got a nice double door going into the house there. Looks like those are the original doors. Very nice. Of course, look at the size of this veranda out here. Still have a chair left. They have the wrought iron fencing here to keep you in here for a little bit of protection. Oh, look, they even have a little butterfly. But yeah, it's a nice little patio. I like this. Very reminiscent of what you'd see in the 70s or 80s, 60s. I mean, if you grew up in the 80s, a lot of houses you knew, or a lot of houses of your friends probably look like this. Beautiful veranda, though. I really like this a lot. You can go back to the stairs here. You can see you can go down, and you can either go around the backyard this way, which I'll show you real quick, just to see if there's anything interesting. The sun is setting, so I apologize if it's a little bright. You can see right there, they have a well water system. This all would have been garden at one point in time. Oh, wow. Got a whole different side entrance to the house here. So I guess we'll go around this way first. That's an interesting door. That's an original door. Look at the frosting on it. Some old windows. Very interesting. It's like a second entrance to the house over here. Again, this is still their property right here to the fence line you can see there. That gravel kind of marks the edge of the property. Go around this way here. This takes us to the backyard. Oh, look at this, guys. We got a pool back here. This is pretty cool. Check that out. Oh, it's still filled. It's very green. I don't think anybody want to go swimming in that today. It's a huge backyard. Looks like it goes just past that tree there to the fence line. Even got a little deck space here by the pool. That's kind of neat. Got a tree growing out of the deck. That's very neat. I like that. Yes, you can see it's definitely been a few years from the state of this yard. It's very heavily overgrown. Everything's like 3-4 feet tall in some areas. Definitely in rough shape. Look at this pool though. That's gross. That didn't just happen overnight. Okay, so there's also steps back there. You know, we might have come around to the backyard the right way, I think. Why don't we work this way? Wonder if this is like a pool room or something here on the left. Maybe we'll check that first. So they have a nice interlock patio in the backyard here too by the pool. Good spot to hang out, watch your kids swim, or, you know, join your guests if you're having a party. What do we got here? All right, so we're gonna fit through here. Barely, oh yeah. This is like a kitchen space. So this isn't a pool cabana. This is like a kitchen space. I don't know if this is the main part of the house or if this is like a second part of the house. I guess we'll figure this out. Got a giant skylight in this room. Look at that. Beautiful. Surprisingly, there's no mold or any issues from water leaking in there yet. This looks like a 90s room. That's actually wallpaper. It looks like it's peeling up. But you can tell from the tiling in here, it's like 90s flooring. That's pretty clean tiling there. These might be reused cupboards or something. Look, those are actually fairly new cupboards because of the hinges. So yeah, this is like a 90s type of kitchen they've added onto this part of the house here. All this is fairly new. I mean, if I look at these, the hinges will be the same again, yep. It's a nice backsplash. I like the tile backsplash here. And that's a very nice double sink. It's even got the vegetable washing area there in the middle. The only problem is the sink is facing a wall instead of facing the pool in the backyard. All right, let's go this way. I like that stained trim around the door there. That's nice. What we got back here? Also, maybe this is like the pool cabana room. Look at the cool ceiling in here. This is kind of neat. I like that. That's cool. Over here, we got a closet. Not a whole lot to see in there. Just some crumbs from turds, I guess. What we got in here? Like a cedar closet? Oh, weird. So this is like a dual purpose room. We got the water heater that's tucked away in here. And it's got its own little cabana, I suppose. But it looks like they retrofitted the water heater into what was previously a nice cedar closet. Like this is a very nice closet. It's kind of rendered useless as it becomes a water heater room. Very strange. And from this, yeah, I was gonna say, this looks like someone's been drying some weed or something here. This is a string that they hung to dry, and you can see there's a stem from the plant right there. So at some point, someone was growing here and drying. All right, let's continue this way. Again, you got more modern tiling here. This looks like 90s type of tiling. You got baseboard heaters in here. Okay. This is that room with the double doors that we saw when we came around from the front of the house here. It's kind of interesting. So it is basically just a side entrance to the house from the driveway, I suppose. You got your closet here where you can leave your coats. Your guests can leave their belongings, whatever. But yeah, this house looks like it has a few ways in. This is obviously a newer section of the house, but they made good use of it. Another way to get in from the driveway. I like the angled corners to the ceiling here too. That's pretty neat. Pretty interesting features in this part, I gotta say. Like this ceiling here is very strange, but I like it. It's kind of industrial looking. Looks like they have an alarm system there that's fairly new looking. All right, let's continue. Where does this take us? Again, that takes us out to the backyard where we came from. There's that beautiful skylight. The fridge would have been in this corner here, I suppose. Actually, no, it looks like they had an oven in that corner. My mistake. They have a range hood there. So where does this take us? Does this take us into the house? I hope it doesn't, because we haven't really finished the backyard yet. Got a bathroom here. Yeah, see, all of this seems newer. The cabinetry is not very nice or fancy by any means, but it's all modernized with those hinges. That sink looks like it's a little bit older. Fairly new light above the mirror there. And you got a clean toilet there in terms of the brown bomber. He hasn't been here. And this shower over here, I like how it's, I mean, it's obviously they're making use of space here, but it's a neat shower. I like how it's got that angled shape to it. It's got some nice tile work. It's a decent setup. I like that big shower head too. That would give you a lot of water. And if I turn around here, it's got a little bit of counter space here. I'm not sure what this would have been for. Would have been stationary, I suppose. Look at the paint decay. That's that's kind of wild. Looks like they painted over oil paint with latex, but I don't know if that's actually the case here or not. But the way it's peeling is typical of latex. So we go in a little further. It looks like we got a little mini laundry area here. This looks like they would have had like a stacked washer dryer combo. Just kind of sitting in the corner here. This is a very tiny laundry room sink. Pretty wild. All right, let's turn around. We'll go further in. You can see even the flooring in here is like a laminated wood. So again, fairly modern, something you would have seen early 2000s. Of course, this room here looks like it's got another entryway to the house. Yes, it does. This could have been a bedroom. It's big enough to be one. You got a couple of closets on this one side here. Let's see if they're empty. I'm sure they are. Yes, they are. It's empty. Of course, you look outside there. That's the double door area that we were looking at outside, and we were just in that room a minute ago. And that is the other door to the house here. So there's lots of ways to get in here. Not really a surprise. That's an interesting wall. Look at that. Big rounded wall here in the basement. Must be stairs or something on the other side. Okay, so this is like a front living room or family room space. Well, that's nice. I like that. That's very nice. Beautiful fireplace in here. I like that stone. It's got some floating shelves up there to hold some stuff. It's got that ugly 70s wood paneling in here though. But you know, the fireplace kind of makes the room what it is. And that rounded corner there, that is just really bizarre. It's a really big round wall. Like that's interesting. We'll see what's on the other side at some point. Looks like a desk was left behind. And yeah, not a whole bunch of other stuff that's really interesting really. But this fireplace is really the highlight of this room. So I'm starting to think that maybe this part of the house could have been rented out as an apartment because you got a kitchen, you got a bedroom, you got a bathroom, and you got a living space. Kind of seems that way, doesn't it? And there's no other way to get into the rest of the house from here because we just covered this section of the house. I guess we're gonna have to go back outside and then we'll work our way in. So this takes us back out to the pool area. There's Ethan and Owen. Hello. Their links will be in the description. So this is that patio area I was showing you guys earlier. Got a picnic table and an umbrella here. Oh, look at this. That's a nice patio on the backside. Maybe of a kitchen, we'll see. Look at this though, concrete railing. It's a little bit over the top. I guess these people had some money to burn. Wow. Crazy. So that's the roof of that section of the house there. That's what the skylight is. This place looks massive from back here, really. So this is like the back deck, and yes, this looks like it is the kitchen, and this is the main part of the house. Wow, this is nuts. This would have been a beautiful backyard at one point in time. It's just kind of crazy that it's ended up like this. This state really kind of changes the way it looks. And there's probably really no point in going over there, but I'll just show you guys. The yard kind of wraps around to that fence there. And it goes along the back of the house there. But there's not really much more to see. All right. Well, I don't think we should fool around here anymore. I think we should stop dilly-dallying out here. Get inside and see what we can figure out about this place. Okay guys, we're now inside the front door of the house here, standing in what would be the front foyer area of the house. And I think this one's gonna be pretty interesting to see. There's a lot of decay in here. So why don't we get down to it, see if we can figure out what happened to this place. So like I mentioned, we're standing just inside the front door of the house here. We already checked this out from the front patio out front. It was a beautiful veranda out there. And you can see these are old doors dating back to when they built the house. You don't see doors like this anymore. Very solid doors, very nice. And looking down at the floor, you still have the original tile that greets you when you enter the house. This goes right back to when they built it. Of course, you got a closet there for the guests to hang their things or for you to hang your stuff when you came home from work. And like I mentioned, the paint decay is crazy in here. I don't know why it's so bad, but it seems to be like this everywhere. What's really nice about this house is they seem to have wainscoting all along the first floor here. I mean, you come in the house and the foyer here is, got wainscoting going through. And you come out to the main hall here and you can see the wainscoting goes downstairs and it also goes upstairs. So it's quite a nice theme that runs throughout the main hall of the house anyways. It gives me the impression that when this place was built, it was probably for people that were a little bit more well off than others at the time. This house seems to have a lot of high-end features. So once we enter the house here, we see the main family room of the area of the house. It's got a very new wood floor. You can see this is not an original hardwood floor to when the house was built. But my goodness, what is going on here? Look at this decay. The paint is literally peeling off the walls in chunks that are like sometimes a foot or 2 feet long. It's peeling off like wallpaper. Of course, I'll pan around and show you guys this room. It's got a beautiful big window at the front. We could see that from the veranda out there when we were out there. Of course, I pan all the way around. This is looking back to the hall we started. The decay is just insane. They got beautiful crown moldings in this room, giving you that upper class feeling. You guys know I love crown moldings. If you watch this channel enough, I love to point them out. I think they're absolutely amazing. And these ones are no exception. Another feature I really like, they have the valance hiding the curtain rod, although this place they didn't do the curtain rod right, and it's actually below the valance. But that valance is supposed to hide the curtain rod, potentially lights. There are no lights up there, but you can see the old curtain rods that were up there. So unfortunately, a little bit of hack work happened here when they put these new shutters up, and they completely didn't hide them like they were intended to be. So that's a bit of a shame. Happens though, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna turn around this way. This would have been the dining area of the house. And I say that because there's a medallion there with a little bit of a chandelier up on the ceiling. So you would have had your dining room table sitting here. And this is where all your important meals would have been. You would have entertained guests and done that sort of thing. Again, you can see the paint is just absolutely peeling off the wall in crazy amounts everywhere in this house. It's absolutely wild. Now, I guess this would have been an addition to the house at one point in time because this is clearly a sliding door that would have taken you outside. But it looks like they added a sunroom to this part of the house here. And it's got that interesting ceiling that was in the other part of the house too, that metal ceiling. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of going to a subway station. That's what that ceiling reminds me of. But yeah, my guess, this would have been like a sunroom. There's lots of windows in here. Oh look, there's even a door that goes outside. So that would probably take you to the back deck, or actually the backyard. This was that overgrown area, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So that door would take you out to the yard there that was just beside the veranda I showed you last. This is an interesting little space. It's not the prettiest of spaces. I don't really like the paneling that they use for wainscoting. Although I do like how they put this trim around the walls here and actually stain that. That's actually proper real wood, so that's actually quite nice. But the wainscoting leaves a little to be desired in my opinion. Although what they use as a trail rail is a nice piece of wood. It's an interesting room. Definitely added some space to the house and it would have been a neat space to hang out in. So going back this way takes us back to the laundry room. Oh look, there's a nest up there. There's a nest on the light, that's wild. It's interesting they have these shutter doors still. These shutter doors would have been here from when they built the house in the 60s. Pretty original still. And as we work our way to the kitchen, it would appear everything out here is pretty much stuck in the 60s too. I mean, the tiling in the floor here looks pretty old. The cabinetry, that looks like it might be 60s or 70s. That KitchenAid washing machine is a little newer, or dishwasher, sorry. But even the tile here, the tile behind the fridge, sorry, that's an oven there. That's a range hood, so that would have been an oven. But you got this tile here with these retro looking flowers. Very 1960s looking backsplash. You got the kitchen sink by a window, so at least here they got that right. And this, of course, is looking out at their big, beautiful yard. Absolutely wild. Of course, you got the counter space here. You would have been prepping the food. And over there, you would have had the main eating area of the kitchen. Look at these cabinets here. Oh, this, the pantry's been taken over by birds, it looks like. That's a big nest. Anything up here? Yeah, I think everything's probably going to be empty in this house. That's going to be no surprise to anyone. You can see those are very old school hinges, so these cabinets most likely date back to when they built the place. Of course, there's where the fridge would have been. Unfortunately, it's not here, so we cannot open it. I'm going to show you guys the ceiling. Let me just back up a little bit. The lighting here is all fluorescent. It's pretty cool how they hit it in the ceiling like that, and I like how they have wood trim covering the diffuser. Kind of a classy look for the time. It's obviously very dated looking now, but at the time that would have been quite neat. So let's continue forward here into the dining area of the kitchen. So as we come here, we're greeted with a light that kind of looks like a horn or a trumpet or something, like the blown out end of it. It's an interesting old school light. That's probably like an 80s type of light. Brass and tacky. Of course, this is the sliding door that goes out to the back patio. I was out here with you guys at the start of the video. And this is where we were not too long ago. It's a nice view from the kitchen. Great little space at the back of the house. Of course, looking into the kitchen this way, the cabinets are double-sided, so you can access them from this side as well, unless they're dummy. No, they're not. They're real. So that's pretty neat. It's not the biggest kitchen. It's very modest, but it's, you know, what you would expect for a house from this era, basically. And as I'm showing you the kitchen, I notice there's more decay here, lots of paint peel from the ceiling. The walls of this kitchen are not too bad, though. Wild. Okay, so let's go this way. So this takes us back out to the front hall where we started. And that takes us to the basement, so we'll go down there last. That rounded wall actually looks like the wall we saw in the other half of the house. Beautiful banister. I like the stained, the railing here. It's all stained. Stained and varnished, like the flooring here. Very nice. Of course, they have nice hardwood floors here, but they have this carpet runner hiding most of them. Let's go up. Oh, look at that. They got parquet floors up here. Very typical of that time. And again, this hallway up here also has the wainscoting and chair rail. I'll show you back to the hallway there. It's a great view. Banister looks nice, even though it's simple. Looks great at this angle, but look at this old school light here. This looks like a 60s or 70s type of brass light. Wild. So we'll go this way first. So it looks like we've got a kid's room over here. Very modestly sized room, very plain. Got a bunch of stickers on the wall, definitely a kid's room. Got the shuttered closet doors there. Those are interesting knobs, very typical of the knobs you'd see in the 60s or 70s. And of course they kind of put the central vac through the closet. So it was an afterthought. Nothing too crazy in here. I like the old school doors here. You don't see doors like this in houses very often. These are a little bit better than what you'd see in the 80s and 90s. Come back out here and it looks like we got Michael Jordan's room here. So it looks like we got another kid's room. This one has a chandelier type of light, very 70s looking, 60s looking light. It's green. Decent sized room. This one has a curtain valance too, although there's no curtain in here. Some paint decay as well. But again, it's a very basic room. Parquet floors, some hack work with the cable coming through the wall like that. And you got a closet at the back side again with those beautiful knobs. Nothing really to see in the closet though. So we'll leave this room here. And it takes us back out to the main hallway. Again, what a view that is looking towards that chandelier. That's a very 70s looking hallway light there. It almost looks like something you'd see outside. In front of us here we have probably a linen closet. Yeah. Nothing really left behind. And this room here is probably going to be the master bedroom, I would say. Look at the color. I don't like the color of this room. It's very dark and gloomy. That ceiling fan, that's pretty gross. It looks like it's never been cleaned ever since they installed it. But yeah, this is a little bit bigger than the kids' rooms. Not a massive room by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of hard to believe this would be a master, but you can see they got the closet here. It's not a walk-in or anything super fancy, but they do have the cubby system with some extra hanging space. So I guess that's what you get when you have a master bedroom. Nothing too crazy though. And of course they have an ensuite bathroom. That's where they mounted the mirror on the back side of the door like an afterthought. You come in here and you've got a bit of a dated looking bathroom. This actually looks like it might be more of an 80s type of cabinet. The floor tile seems to be stuck in time. And that's definitely an older toilet. The brown bomber hasn't been here. You got the old school shelving behind the toilet. Very old light there. It's a brass light with some porcelain decorations, I guess. Of course, you got the mirror there. And you got the shower here. Shower looks to be original from when they built the house. It's got that typical tiling you would see in the 60s. And of course the faucets and the hardware are very typical of that era. And yeah, that's about it. Nothing too crazy in this bathroom, unfortunately. All right, well, why don't we work our way down to the basement and we'll wrap this Explorer up. Again, that chandelier, it's pretty neat to look at. Give you guys one more look at it. It's got the fancy medallion on the ceiling for it. All right, so let's go down to the basement. See what we can see down there. Man, that decay again, wow. It's just crazy when you see all this paint on the floor like that. All right, so the fancy chair rail also goes down to the basement here, at least to this landing. So this is probably gonna be a second basement level down here. Yeah, okay, because it's a split level. Oh dear. This is nasty, and I don't think we're gonna be able to go any further. Look how moldy this is, guys. I think we know why the paint is peeling off the walls in this house now. Look at the mold. Oh boy. It's very flooded. I mean, you can see the water is halfway up the basement. So that would explain why the paint is peeling the way it is. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go any further in this one because that's really gross down there and it's very flooded. So guys, unfortunately, I think that's going to wrap this Explorer up. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on this one with me. I do apologize, the basement is flooded, but what can you do? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment afterwards, and of course, share this one to help the video grow. All right, guys. That's all the time we have for today's adventure. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on this one with me. This was an absolutely mind-blowing place that was built in 1969 and has now been abandoned for a few years and it's awaiting its demolition. It's It's kind of hard to believe as you look around to see the state that this place has fallen into, because at one point in time, this was a beautiful home to raise a family in. If you guys have any comments you'd like to leave, please make sure you let me know what you thought about this place. Hit that like button, and of course, share this thing out to help the video grow. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode today. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button over there. Check out last week's video there, and check out the random video up there. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.